Well, the funds that are created at an event like Sparkle of Hope or other fundraising that happens throughout the Cancer Center is critically important, because otherwise we have the NIH, for example, which is it's great on a very large level when you have something that's already proven to work to sort of determine how well it might work. But if you really have new ideas, exciting new ideas that need to get out there, you need pilot money to test them and determine how well they're going to ultimately work in real life. And Sparkle of Hope funds in particular have been used for those sorts of pilot projects, and many of which have been quite successful.
I would be toast without Sparkle is really the truth. So the reality of research right now in cancer research, particularly for women, is that it's very underfunded. Sparkle dollars have done two things for me in particular that have been very important. They've supported some of the small projects I've used to write bigger grants, and they've also supported our clinical research office.
Our research office works very closely with our physicians in the Cancer Center to activate and open studies for our GYN oncology patients. We make the studies available to the patients, and then we work really closely with our physician team to look for patients who are interested in participating on these clinical trials.
We do have an immunotherapy trial for recurrent ovarian cancer patients. It's really exciting. It's a medication that's only given once every other month, and then the patients receive weekly Taxol, which is the standard of care chemotherapy in addition to that. Another study I'm really excited about is looking at different ways of using chemotherapy more effectively with patients who are receiving radiation for vulvar cancer, and that's a nationwide trial that we have open here looking at a unique chemotherapy combination. And it's great to partner with our radiation oncology colleagues to learn how to use those treatments together more effectively.
Having a dedicated research office to GYN oncology clinical research is very important. It allows us to specialize in clinical trials that are very complex, very targeted toward these specific diseases. It allows the staff on the team to be able to better serve the patients and work more closely with the physicians who are dedicated to curing these diseases as well.
Without our clinical research office, we would have no way of safely enrolling patients into clinical trials and no way of keeping our clinical trials open. That's a huge service we provide not only to Dane County, but to the entire state. There's not a lot of GYN oncology centers active in clinical trials, so we really do see patients from hundreds of miles away. Without Sparkle, we wouldn't have a research office, and that is unimaginable to me.
The other thing that Sparkle of Hope has been particularly great at doing is bringing together researchers from different areas and different disciplines to work together on finding cures for gynecologic cancer. We may have people who are doing exciting things in breast cancer research, prostate cancer research, or even in areas that have nothing to do with cancer. But when we have the ability to give them funds to have them refocus their research on gynecologic cancer, they then do that, and then we start to see new and exciting things come up and new collaborations that never occurred before.
If you can look at the number of people that we collaborate with on a daily basis, it's really a long list of people. And we were able to recruit these people to do research in ovarian cancer only because we would have these small funds or pilot funds that would allow us to collect the data, and then we would then apply for a bigger grant.
I think the biggest thing that we've been able to do was a direct reflection of some of the donated money that came from Sparkle of Hope, as well as from the family of Diane Lindstrom. So we created a Diane Lindstrom Ovarian Cancer Research Fund with some donations from her family, and that directly benefited two researchers here at Carbone. One, Dr. Gallipo and Dr. Barillette, who are working on some really interesting things using tumor-infiltrating lymphocytes and trying to develop new drugs against ovary cancer.
I'm Jacques Gallipo. I'm a hematologist oncologist at the Carbone Cancer Center. I'm also the Associate Dean for Therapeutics Development at the School of Medicine and Public Health here at UW. I'm a hematologist. My clinical practice has nothing to do with ovarian cancer. but the reason I got interested in ovarian cancer is because of Lisa Burilet, Manish Patenkar, and the Department of Oncological Gynecology.
Immunotherapy, it's still very much in its infancy with our cancers, but we've seen some really big successes with cervical cancer and uterine cancer in particular, and we're seeing more and more trials using immunotherapy in combination with other medications that I think can be really powerful.
So our plan as part of this grant is to sort of harvest those immune cells that bathe the ovarian cancer, bring them to the lab, and change their genetic makeup, to weaponize them with a synthetic gene that sort of converts them from Dr. Banner to the Hulk. And the idea is to give back those cells that initially had maybe a little bit of timid interaction with the cancer, but now that become like, crazed. And the idea is that those gene-engineered cells harvested from the patient, given back to them, would then, on their own, be able to eradicate cancer. That's the hoped for outcome.
We were also able to fund Dr. Patenkar and Dr. Campagnola looking at the extracellular matrix in ovarian cancer.
So we have a project where we are looking at the changes in collagen in the ovarian tissues and trying to figure out if we can actually use that as a marker for pathological classification of tissues, whether they are cancer or not cancer.
We were also able to directly use Sparkle of Hope funds with matching cancer center funds to fund 2 brand new researchers in ovarian cancer. One, Dr. Ahmad and Dr. Feltenberger, both received $25,000 of cancer center funds to start working in ovarian cancer research.
My name is Nihal Ahmad and I'm professor in dermatology, Department of Dermatology here at University of Wisconsin. And I do cancer research mostly related to identifying the mechanisms that are involved in cancer development and progression.
So Dr. Nihal Ahmad is actually a researcher, a professor in dermatology, and he works in melanoma. And he's done a lot of work on this molecule called PLK, polo-like kinase.
PLK5 is overexpressed in normal tissue, normal fallopian tube, and is lost in ovarian cancer tissues. So that was very interesting to me, and we started working on this in collaboration with some other colleagues here.
It's a very basic science project at this point, because there is a lot of work. There are hardly any papers out there on PLK5, and Dr. Ahmad's lab has been at the forefront of looking at PLK5. So it's a new project. Nobody in ovarian cancer field has actually looked at PLK5. So it's a new project, and that's what we are pursuing.
There is limited amount of money available for these kind of high risk, high gain projects, and which are at very early stages. The federal funding is not sufficient to handle these kind of things.
Even the cancers that we've made really good progress in, like ovarian cancer, we've been able to extend survival. People live so much longer than they used to, but we're still not curing most people with these cancers. And it's great that people are now living on average 5 or 6 years when it used to be 1.5 years. We want people to be cured and go about their life and just have that be a horrible experience, or even better, prevent it and never have the cancer happen in the first place. We're not there yet, and we need to keep fighting until we get there.